Hello and welcome to Budget with Brian, and today we're going to take a look at some voltage detectors. I've got a few different ones here. I've got some favourites and one that I really don't like at all. But if you're not already a subscriber to the channel, please do hit the subscribe button and ding the bell, and then you'll get notified when we make some new videos like this. So the first one I want to talk about is one that I don't think is a good idea to get. It's this type. There's lots of these available. They are actually, and if I just revert to the CEF catalogue, you can see if that will focus. Let that focus. That for £20 you can get a Fluke original, of which this is clearly a copy of. It doesn't pretend to be a Fluke, but I mean, it's, you know, look at the pictures. It is very, very similar, but I can tell you the quality of this non-branded one is not very good, and I would hope that a Fluke original would be very much better. But I can also tell you that at £20 you've got a lot more choice of what I would consider to be better voltage detectors. Now, obviously, voltage detectors, they're only there to detect voltage. That you should obviously be isolating your work before you get started. So these are really only just a convenient way of just making sure you've done that isolation before you get started. But they are an important safety item, and very useful in doing that very simple task. And at the price that they are, really, you should have one if you're doing any kind of electrical works. So let me start off by telling you what I don't like about this one. So these you can get on eBay, Amazon, that sort of place, and they won't be more than £2-3 each. They are very, very cheap, and I'm going to show you immediately why I don't like this one. Is that basically it just sort of falls apart. The catch here on this piece of plastic, let's see if we can come in a little bit closer. The catch here on this piece of plastic at the top here just doesn't keep itself together. The weight of the batteries, basically, while the thing's in your hand, just while you're using it, it will come apart. So again, obviously these are incredibly simple devices. They are just detecting a bit of voltage, but the potential for this one to give you a false positive is quite high, in the sense that the batteries can come disconnected from the device momentarily or over a period of time. And I've just found that I've had to take these apart, realign the batteries, and just to see that the thing works. But yeah, of course, what you want to do is check that the device is working. So it does have a little LED on the front, so you can look into places, and it will detect voltage. So let's get a power line in here. So again, another sort of tricky part is, apart from having this LED on the front, which you can check to make sure that the device has power to it and it has a good battery, is that actually this type, being very, very simple, doesn't have a power on button or any indicator to say that it's powered on, but effectively it's just on all the time. So you'll see here that I'm able to just get a very simple indication that there's power going through this cable here. But you can see that if this didn't beep, how would you know whether the thing was working or not? And this is fundamentally why I don't like this type. Is it just really doesn't allow you to have any confidence in the device itself. So what's better than this? So I did actually do a little bit of research, and I found that there are a couple of perhaps not well-known brands, certainly in the UK, that you might find are large manufacturers in the world of multimeters, and those two companies that I'm thinking of is UNI-T, which you may have come across before, and the second one is Aning. So let's start off with this device. This is branded Aning. I've got a red one here. They did come in other colours. And this particular model is a VC1010. Now immediately this device solves a lot of the problems that I had already seen on the one I don't like, in that it has a very much better method of securing the batteries in. Again, these are they didn't come with batteries, I may add. It's got a better catch on the top there, so the device itself doesn't fall apart when you're using it. The whole device itself feels a little bit more better made. I would say the quality of this is certainly a step up from the other type. And more importantly, it has a power on button. So you can power it on, you know that the device is working, and then you can go ahead and do your test. And the other thing that happens here is the display changes. So if you're in a noisy environment, you could also see, oh, there we go. That you get a visual indication as well. Plus also you've got a sensitivity setting. So it'd probably be difficult for you to see that, but I am actually just changing the sensitivity. And on top of that, it also has an LED that latches on rather than you pressing and holding the battery. So if you're working away, that does help you find it. So again, it's not a difficult, it's not a very complicated device, but it certainly does a better job than this one, and yet it only costs £1 or so more. Okay, so that's the Aning VC1010. A pretty good contender there. Right, I then got a different type because I wanted to see, well, I wanted to do a video. I got this one. Much bigger display, and this is a VC1010B. B variant. Again, they come in different colours if you want them. You can have Fluke yellow if you really desire. And this one's got an even a different battery compartment there. It's got a bit at the, a cover that clips in place there. And a much bigger display, and it's also physically a sort of a bigger device in that sense. So again, same situation, buttons in the same positions. It's probably the same circuit board inside, but it has a much bigger display. So let's bring that in here. So let me show you the Aning VC1010B's display. It's very difficult for me to be able to film that on the smaller one, the VC1010, but this one does have a bigger display. As I said, they're both about the same price, and I'll tell you what I think about them all in a moment. But yeah, so let's power this one on. Now, first of all, what you see is the word low in the bottom right-hand corner, and then a block. Now, the low display is really talking about a battery indicator, but these are fresh batteries. I don't know why it's displaying the word low at this point and what it does when the batteries really are low. And then you've got a solid block next to it, and that's the sensitivity, how close you are detector meter. It shows a little meter that sort of goes up in scale, like you're doing up a volume sort of level. Hopefully I can get a shot of that in a minute. And then you've got the word AC. So you also then have the sensitivity button, which when you press it, you see this display changes just ever so such a slightly different shade of green. I don't think you'd really notice that particularly. I think you just notice it when you're using it, but nonetheless, it's a useful facility to have. And then you've got the LED on the front, which latches on, which is fine. So let's go ahead and start detecting some power. So here we go. So I don't know whether you can see that. It's difficult for me to zoom in, but actually I could zoom in. Let's try doing that. So there we go. it just shows it a bit dark, but when you get closer it goes up and down, and then eventually the whole thing starts flashing red. And really, there's nothing else to say about it. Out of these 3 pens, I'll just turn this one off. Out of the 3 pen designs here, I actually do have one that I prefer, which is the regular VC1010, the Aning VC1010. It does feel like a nice solid plastic device with a good solid way of loading the batteries and a nice set of features. So out of these 3 types, this is number 1, this is number 2, and this one is never. I'm never using this one ever again. You know, it's rubbish. Bad quality. Now, the last item that I wanted to show, and I may well do a separate video on this multimeter itself, is this UNI-T UT123. Now, I got this little one really for a couple of features. First of all, I wanted one that was sort of quite simple, and secondly, I wanted one that had one very specific feature, which is NCV. That's why I picked up one of these. So it's even useful to have them built into, you know, these type of devices. These are sort of about £10, something like that. And I have to say, I'm blown away with actually how good quality it is and how cool it looks, actually. This case is nice and durable. It's got a nice clear display, and yeah, it's got auto ranging, volt detection or measurement. It's got a nice quick continuity, which is good. It's also capable of measuring temperature, and the feature that we're talking about today, NCV. It has this on here as well, and again, you know, it's quite useful just as a quick check. Non-contact voltage detection, really nice to have in the pocket. So absolutely brilliant that it just has this, and for, you know, day-to-day electrician type work, this multimeter really does a lot of very cool things in a very inexpensive but well-made package. So I can highly recommend these. And when you think about it, you know, for a few more pounds than this device, I you know, obviously they do fairly similar things. You know, in a bundle of wires, this is much easier to get in there. It's, you know, it's got a light on it. So I can see that this is, you know, a useful device. But, you know, this one, if you've got this in your pocket as well, it's also another, you know, quick safety device to help you detect voltage when it's there. But why have one over the other when you can just have both? So I'm likely to carry these 2 items with me when I'm doing electrical type work from now on. Yeah. Thanks again for watching Budget with Brian. Links to where you can get these are in the description below. And as always, thanks for watching.